Como é que é, maltinha? Boa noite a toda a gente. Ficamos aqui um bocadinho adiantados porque esquecemos do pormenor que em França é mais uma hora do que aqui. E então eram 8h20 e a Jess já estava pronta e eu ainda eram 8 horas aqui. Portanto, não é propriamente a melhor cena de sempre. Mas vamos então começar este live. Fiquei bem contente de ter aceito este convite e obviamente que vai ser em inglês. Portanto, espero que percebam e espero que gostem, está bem? Vamos só falar um bocadinho da nossa experiência, responder a umas perguntas e está feito.
Hey.
Hi there!
All right. How are you?
How are you doing? All right?
Good. Yeah, good. How are you?
I'm okay. Thank you for accepting the invite. I'm really happy to have this conversation with you and to have a cup of coffee, a virtual cup of coffee.
It's tea for me, but same shit.
Oh, what type of tea, by the way?
It's chai.
Oh, never
I
tried
love
that
chai.
one.
It's
Never
really
tried
good.
that one. I
Mhm.
think we can cover the first bit. That is, how did Steve uh, happen in your life? Did you know him before as an online coach or as an athlete? Did you had any other coach before him?
No, he was my first coach. I've been following him for maybe 4 years now. So he was my first, like, yeah, I've been following him for a while.
Wow.
And when I wanted to actually pick a coach to start my first improvement season, I just picked him. That was just, we had a consultation and that went fantastic. And it was so natural. He's just such a kind person. He's very British like, but he's just, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just so forthcoming and he's just so smart and kind and it just everything happened so naturally. So yeah, it was amazing.
What
It
what
was
was
pretty natural.
your goal when you have your first thoughts about like maybe I need a coach? Like what did you want it to do that you couldn't do by yourself?
I wanted to lose weight because I thought that I needed to lean out, but I actually didn't. So we actually like cut for 2 months, and then I'm like, this isn't working, and he saw that this wasn't working, so he just ended up reversing me, and then we started my actual massing phase. But I just needed more education. I just needed more knowledge, education. I needed accountability. I was very new to evidence-based bodybuilding, so I just needed someone to
Okay.
teach me properly. Yeah, so it
Were you
was,
training before, or did you have the habit of training already?
yeah, I had been training for, I don't know, like 2 years, but it was on and off, and it wasn't the greatest. Like it wasn't very, it wasn't very successful. But yeah, I had been training for a couple of years on and off. But he was the first person I actually followed a plan with, and I started tracking my training because I had been tracking my calories for a while. At this point, I knew how to enter things in my fitness pal. I was very okay with that, but I just didn't know how to track my training. I didn't know how to build a mesocycle. And it's the same thing you actually learned with me along the way, just to start the mesocycle at this amount of reps in reserve and just building up from there, and then deloading and all that we do with Revive and that you just enjoyed afterwards as well. Hopefully you did.
And mixing the nutrition part as well, because usually people don't put them together, like training and nutrition, and if they go for like a deficit phase, they just go through it, they don't do maintenance, they just want to get to the goal, and we know that doesn't work as well as doing as planning with your training alongside. So
No, yeah.
I, I think that is very important too. So it was quite easy. Like you wanted on a coach, and you didn't thought about having like a PT on your gym, or why an online coach?
I've always been very good with my technique. I've always been a very good learner, and I used to learn online. I was actually very good at following instructions and just my intuition, I guess. But I was just very intuitive with it. But he obviously helped me with form videos, so he could actually correct everything that needed correction. And then he taught me how to rate my reps in reserve, my stimulus to fatigue ratio to find exercises that worked for me. I just didn't feel like I was living in Los Angeles at the time, and I was going to a commercial gym, so there were a lot of PTs that I could have actually hired. But when I saw the way they were training people, it's just very quick. It's not very individualized. It's not very personal. So obviously, you get that aspect of coaching where you have a connection with someone in person because you actually get to be with them in the gym. But aside from those 45 minutes, maybe 3, 4 times a week, if you can afford it, you have with them, I'm not too sure that it's that valuable, unless you really need someone behind your ass to actually that have that accountability. Maybe yes, that
Yeah.
works, but for everybody else, I think if you want to find better education, if you want to find something that's very individualized, you can either go to like a private gym, which is very expensive,
Yes.
or you can hire an online trainer. And there are so many avenues you can go down to, and there are so many online coaches now. If you find good references, if you find actually like people that are qualified, that resonate with your ways of seeing things, of doing things, it's so much easier.
Yeah, that's true. So let me just say hi to the guys. Some people are
Yeah.
here watching us. So um, for people that don't know me, my name is Erika. I'm from Portugal, and I have a online coaching program. So I think most of the people from my followers know what I do, and I'm a nurse as well. And just want to ask you guys to hit the button, send this live to 5 people, so we can so they can come and join us and have a cup of coffee with us or tea with Jess. And if you wanna, tell a little bit more about yourself to my followers because they might not know you.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. So I am a coach for Revive Stronger, which is an evidence-based coaching team.
Awesome. Yes.
That's the big selling point. Yeah, I've been coaching with them for 3 years now, 2 years full time. I was an intern for a year before that. I qualified as a PT in Australia. I actually moved to Australia to study and be mentored for a year at an evidence based facility that's called JPS Health and Fitness in Melbourne. So I
Awesome.
learned a lot there as well, and I had to shadow the guys in the gym. So I actually did some in-person PT as well because I was shadowing them. So I have some experience on the gym floor as
Wow.
well. It was a private facility, so it was much better than your typical commercial gym. But it was still pretty, yeah, it was still pretty cool to see people in person. But I much prefer the flexibility of doing things online because you get to reach out to so many more people aside from being able to travel and just be wherever you are and have
Yeah.
access to just working from your laptop from anywhere. You get to just interact with many people around the world, and I think that's just even better in terms of community building. So yeah, and then I coached you for I don't know how long I've coached you for.
I don't know as well, but I think it was well 6 months. I think. Well, I
Yeah.
still consider you my coach anyway. I don't think I'm gonna
Oh.
find anyone else to coach me because that's how you said when you choose your a PT of your gym, you don't have too much of a choice. You have like what 5, 6 people that you can choose from,
Yeah.
and you can't really find someone that it goes have the same mindset as you, same way of thinking, the same values, and even the same interests. Because when I look up for going for a Revive Stronger team, I didn't have in mind anyone. I was just they are a good team. They science based evidence. So that's all I need. And when
Yeah.
I got the chance to do it with you, we was like we have an expression in Portuguese that is like the cherry on top of the cake,
Yeah.
because you were a woman, and I wanted to try to do it with a woman because I had an online coach. There was a guy before, and in this industry, I feel that women are a little bit maybe put it aside when it's evidence based, because it's
Yeah.
all about bodies and it's all about bums, and it's not like that. Like, we have a brain, and
Yeah.
we know stuff, and I wanted to know what was to be coached by a woman. So it was really nice that they gave me the chance to have a consultation with you. And then I look you up, and like, you know, you like to travel and you like to try different things, and you're very open about some of the problems that you go through, and it just convinced me straight away. Like I said, yes, I feel the connection, and that's another thing. I think a lot of people think because it's online, and because some PTs they just write the plan, send to the person, and that's it. And there's no connection, there's no talk through during the week, anything. People think that there's not possible to have a connection when it's an online coaching, but that's not true. You can have even a stronger connection with someone on the other side of the screen that you have with your own PT of your gym.
Yeah.
That's my idea.
I agree. I think I've built in the 3 years I've been doing that, I've built more friendships and connections than ever before. And if you live, I live in a very remote area. I'm the only female pretty much training in my gym. I'm the only female training hard, training with a logbook, and it's very new for people to
Yeah.
actually see females in my gym. And like I mean, I live in France. It's not like a third world country, but people are still pretty shocked because there's like females training in the gym and training hard and training with full range of motion. And I arguably train even better than most males in my gym, but you know, it's a typical bro gym and it's a commercial gym. So the PT suck and you can't really build a community. And, you know, being
You
online
don't feel
was my
connected at all.
way. Yeah, being online and trading with people, even though you can't be with them in person all the time, you actually get to build that connection. And I think the community aspect of online coaching, it's so undervalued, it's so valuable, it's so important to actually build that connection with people. And when we do meetups, you know, when it's not like COVID time, when we actually do
Yeah.
meetups and we get to actually see people in person, oh my God, that
Must
changes
be awesome.
everything. This is amazing. This is just the time where you just, I don't know, it clicks. You're like, oh my God, like it's even better in person. And you wish that you could be, you know, training in person with them all the time, but
To
that's
train
not how it
together. Can
works.
you imagine you like training with Steve by your side? Like, you would improve. At least I would improve like 100 times more than I
Yep.
when I do it alone. You know, because
Yeah.
you have that external motivation. You always do two or three more when someone is pushing for you. That's the
That's one
truth.
of the big thing. You definitely do, and I have trained with many clients over the years in person when I do travel to London or the US, and I meet them in person and we train in the gym. We get a session in together, and they're like, "Oh wow, it's so much better in person because you get to tweak a few things here and there, and it's like." Clicking, and then you're like, oh my God, I've been doing this wrong for like 3 months and now it's happening. But apart from that, I still think there's so many more things you can teach online and you can get better, get right compared to like a typical PT in the gym. And I'm not taking, you know, I'm not shitting on every single PT
Yeah.
in commercial gyms because there are good PTs, in person PTs for sure. But I mean, if you want to find someone in a specific niche, if you want to find someone evidence based, if you live in a remote area like me, like if I look at the three coaches at my gym, I'm like, I would never be coached by them. It's terrible. Like we're at this point where they actually make people squat on a burpee ball, and I'm like, there are memes of that all over Instagram. Why is this still a thing? I just don't get it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I have the same feeling here, and I think it would be it's nice when you are like being coached by someone that wants to have the goal of building a community, and I try to do that, and I try to do meetups and know like you do with the clients, just meet up and do it in person because you know them very well. And when you do the video form analysis, that's one of the way I think. Well, you do it like that. I do it like that as well. And as you were saying, for some people, it's still strange and weird to film at the gym, to record
Yeah.
videos. But like, that's game changing. When you start doing that, you just gonna improve so much because you can see yourself and you can correct yourself. And when you send that to your coach, because some people just are embarrassed of doing that. I had a client that told me that just a few days ago, and she's from France, and she was saying that people just look weird for her because
They
she's
do.
recording, and I'm like,
Yeah.
just forget it because you're gonna have so much from that videos and from seeing yourself doing the movements and your coach correcting you, that is it worth it. It's worth it to go through it at least the first times.
And it's something you have to build the tolerance to. Like if you do it like once, twice a week, then you get better at it and it just gets easier. And I'm very strong-minded. Like I don't care. Like if I'm
Yeah.
recording myself in the gym, I would literally shout at people who like walk in front of the camera and I'm like, can't you see I'm recording? And like, please don't do that. But I understand that people are self-conscious about recording themselves in the gym, but it's so worth it. And you have to go through that phase of not caring what people think and being driven by intrinsic values and having like intrinsic goals, so you can actually not give a fuck about what people are doing in the gym. Or like, if you look at people who are judging you for recording, the chances of them training like idiots is so high. And like, they're not going to be like, they're going to be the typical bro quarter repping on the hack squat or the leg press. It doesn't matter if they make fun of you, because you could make fun of them in return because they just don't know how to train anyway. So it's like, you got to go through that. But I do understand that it's complicated, especially if you're like the only female in the gym, or if there are not many females or people recording, or maybe there's a rule that your gym doesn't let you actually record if there's people in the background. So you have to work around that. So it gets complicated.
Yeah.
But apart from that, it's definitely worth it. And it's so valuable to have that feedback from the coach. And when you train in the gym and you have a trainer behind you, they follow you in the gym and people are looking at you getting coached. Same shit if you like record yourself and send it to your coach. Like you're going to be at the same level of exposure, even maybe more, if you're actually training with a PT in the gym, because people are watching you just getting coached. So it's worth it, and you have to build a tolerance to that. And I do get that it's hard, but it's worth it.
And I guess the evolution is bigger because you are seeing yourself, and when a PT is correcting your movements, you might be doing what he's saying to you, but you don't understand why. And when you actually see the video and the coach tells you need to do like this because of this and this, it just makes it easier, because it's proved that you can do better when you understand the why. And when you just do it just because he's saying to you, it's just not, your brain is not going to record it as easily. So
No.
I think it's quite a good thing to the online coaching, and I think all the PTs should have online program as well to be followed. I think mixing the two worlds would be perfect.
It would. It definitely would. Like my goal in the end would be to just be doing those huge bodybuilding retreats where you could meet everybody and learn together. And that's my end goal. I just want to do that so bad. Like that's my really focused goal with Revive, towards like maybe in like a 5 years down the line, but really being able to bring people together. Not something super expensive so people can join easily, so it doesn't have to be something fancy, but something where you can build a community, meet people who are like-minded, and I don't know, just, making sure that everybody's getting something out of that. And you don't have to be in person all the time to build that up, but seeing yourself in person with others here and there, that's so valuable in just building that community. But also something else that we don't really talk about when we talk about online coaching is that you're joining like a family. Like really, like I see myself with Revive Stronger since like it's been 3 years now, and the value that I got from actually being coached by them and being part of the team and meeting people, coaching people through them, it's invaluable. Honestly, it's nothing that I like would have happened to me if I wasn't online, if we didn't have access to online coaching. So I think that's a huge aspect, especially so many people are feeling, I don't know, like maybe isolated because of COVID or isolated because of where they live and they can't really travel right now. It's so really amazing to be able to, connect with people in person, connect with people online, and then getting to meet them in person down the line when it's not like a fucked up world like it is right now. But yeah, the community aspect for me, it's almost as important as like everything else.
And it's possible, even virtual. When you are in person with your coach, it's like you know each other for a long time. It's not weird, and I think it's quite nice. And as you said, when you are in a small city that maybe you don't connect with people, or you don't have the mindset, you can quite easily isolate yourself and feel lonely. And no one wants to be lonely, really. And we need to take these advantages of technology to make ourselves a little bit more happy, and connection with people is part of it. Otherwise, we would be in the middle of the woods living alone. We're not like that. We're social beings. It's part of us.
It's so important for me. It's probably more important. Like, I really value coaching. It's my thing. I love my job. It's very fulfilling. But the community aspect and, building those relationships, that's as important as everything else. You get so much value from it. Some people are going to want to stick to like a very professional approach, and I understand that.
It's
and
fine.
It's always going to happen. When you work a service job like that, where you're in connection with clients all the time, you're not going to click with everybody, and that's okay. It doesn't matter. Like, as long as you're doing your job and you're getting results, it's okay if like you're not clicking with 100% of the people you work with. But I want to say 90% of the clients that I have became friends. I talk with them regularly, even when they're not working with me anymore. And if I travel to a city where they are, I will get out of my way to just meet them and just train with them, get a meal in so we can connect in person. But yeah, it's the beauty of technology, honestly. It's really fantastic if you think about it.
And I think it's more available than having, PT sessions, because they're quite expensive. And we're getting to a point, and I don't know if people realize this, but the study says that in a couple of years, we are going to be with no activity at all and very fat. That's what's going to happen if we don't change now like today, and we are behind. So having this type of coaching that show up as online, it's just a way, a easier way for people to start to move more and do more. So it's not just for bodybuilders or for people that want to compete. Like, if you're struggling of getting the habit of going to the gym, your nutrition is not, it could be better, but you're still struggling and you can't do it alone, it's okay to look for some help. Even if it's not, long term or for not competing, it's just to get your life better, quality of life.
I think a lot of people suspect that online coaches only work with advanced people or bodybuilders, like competitive bodybuilders, but 90% of my roster is just regular people who just want to get healthier and want to train in the gym in a way that bring them results, and they just want to learn. I do get competitors because I do compete and I like to compete and train competitors. But aside from that, most of my roster, most of my clients, I mean, they just don't really care about competing, which is fair. You should compete after years of training and dieting when you're ready for it. But yeah, it's really, it's, I guess it's the beauty of technology, and you have to take advantage of that for sure.
Yeah, and for the physics side, people think that for you to have a coach is because you wanna to upgrade to some physique, but sometimes the goal is not the physique. Like you
Hmm.
just want to gain more muscle, because if you gain more muscle, you're gonna be healthier, and if you go through a disease, you're gonna be able to recover much faster if you are in a
Yeah.
good health. So it's not just about that. And when your nutrition improves and you are like a mother, or you have brothers, you're gonna influence everyone around you.
Yeah.
How many times you change your nutrition and people say like, "Whoa, you're looking better. Well, what have you done?" And you
Hmm.
are influence them to to just to be healthier. So it's not just about ourselves; it's about changing everyone that we touch a little bit, or trying
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, and I think there's so much value in just trying to change your behavior outside, or like even the process, falling in love with the process outside of just chasing that physique goal,
Yeah,
because it may happen, it may not happen. If you train consistently for years, you're going to see some changes, and it's going to be positive changes, but it's not the end goal. And you need to be aware that you have to fall in love with the process of getting better and be consistent with things over time for them to actually be meaningful, even physically. Like, you have to do this shit forever if you want to make meaningful changes and see changes. Like, we see it ourselves. Like, we train hard. one
it's
year
hard
of
work. It's
it,
hard
it
work.
is and 1 year of massing, like, you're not going to see a massive difference, unfortunately. If you're natural and you're female, especially, or hard
Yes.
gainer, it's going to take you forever to make meaningful changes, or like to look like people on stage. So don't
Yeah.
expect that, and just enjoy the process, find values in your everyday life, and you're going to find some effects around you. And I do, like, I live in France, and it's such a small community of evidence-based bodybuilders. When I do talk about those things, I see people getting curious and getting interested, because I do get results that way. So then you get out of the mindset of like the old school bodybuilding ways, and you actually
Yeah.
try to understand, like, hey, maybe there's a smarter way to do that. And you're like, yes, there is. I'm going to teach you that way.
Yeah, that's true. So do you feel that when people reach you, they have, kind of false expectations, thinking like, okay, I'm going to have a coach, I'm going to train like twice a week, and I'll have pretty good results in 2 months?
Yeah, you have to put in the work. You have to work with intent, and you need to understand that you need to be curious. You need to understand what you're doing. And so many people think that you're going to get a coach and you're just going to, follow the plan and magic's going to happen. But unfortunately, magic's not going to happen if you don't put in the work. You need to be consistent. You need to be communicating with your coach. You need to be honest. You need to understand the mechanics behind why we do this exercise over this exercise, why we do that many sets, that many reps, why we don't train a failure on week one, why we deload, while we pay attention to nutrition pre and post workout, why sleep is important, why managing stress is important. Like, it's so many components. And yeah, I mean, you have to be willing to work with intent, and you have to get ready. If you're going to be coached, you have to be ready to be
To
coached. You have to
commit
be
and to
coachable.
commit. Yeah.
And that's
And
a lot of things people don't understand, and they usually get into coaching thinking it's going to be like a magic pill, and it's like, no, it's not. You have to put in the work. You still have to be consistent, and you have to, tick your boxes every day. And you're going to screw up at some point.
yeah,
Like, we all make mistakes. That happens every single day. And you get clients, oh, I overate this weekend. Oh, I had 2 more drinks and then I had a pizza. Or, oh,
they
I
try to be perfect.
you can't get perfection. Is like, it's gonna kill you. You can't be perfect at this thing. You cannot. um but yeah, it means it's there are so many things you can educate people. It's overwhelming but very fulfilling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. So should we go straight to the questions?
Yeah, go for it.
Right, first one. So I need to translate this. Why a coach has a coach?
because we need accountability and we need to take the pressure off. I know that having Steve, even when I was getting coached, that was so valuable for me because I didn't have to think. I could just follow the plan, and I learned so much through getting coached by him. I learned it was like a private mentorship, if that makes sense. It was kind of like a private mentorship because I knew how he was working. I could ask him a lot of questions while he was doing that with me. So then I can replicate with other people in my coaching team. So it's a domino effect. It's really important. And it really takes the pressure off because if I want to focus and do good works with my clients, I need to just not care about my own training. So I have someone else take care of that for me.
Yeah, I feel the same as well. Like if I need to not do anything, it always be things related with me. Like if I have 3 plans to do, mine is going to be the last one when I don't have
Yep.
any more patience, and this is just it's not gonna work. And I
Yeah.
think because like I'm overthinker, so it's so
Oh,
many
yeah.
components that you need to look in a plan because you're mixing nutrition with training and you need to think in all the details that if you are doing that with your own process, it's just going anywhere with a plan. And I think a coach having a coach, it's looking for someone that takes the pressure, but that can see clearly. Mostly when you are like for a deficit, going on a deficit because your brain
Yeah.
just doesn't work well.
I never could have prepped without Steve in my corner as a coach because I wanted to do great work with my own clients. And if I had to do my prep on top of that, like that wouldn't have been possible for sure. So I needed that. And also, he had an objective perspective on what I was doing because when you get deeper in prep or in a deficit or even in a massing phase, sometimes you don't have that objective perspective. Oh, I'm getting fat. Oh, I'm not lean enough. Oh, I'm going to push the calories down. Or like, oh, I should stop massing because I'm getting too fat. Like you're gonna get someone in your corner that says like, hey, you're actually not like that fat. Or like, hey, you're lean enough for the time being and you're like on track with everything. So just relax and let me coach you. And that amount of pressure taken off is so important.
Yeah. And I think because all of us as a human beings, we try to be on our comfort zones, and massing and going on a deficit is going out of our comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
So when we go to that point that we're not comfortable anymore, we want to step back
Yep.
wherever we are, and the coach at that point will say, no, I know what it's trying to do. Let's keep
Yeah.
going. So I think it's really important. I think we answered quite well the question.
Yeah.
Right, next one. They are asking, how is it send the nutrition and training plans? Like, I think they are confused how it works online because with a PT, they will just give you a sheet with what
Yeah.
you have to do and that's it. But here we can't do that. Do you want to explain how it works?
Yeah, I do everything on Google Sheets. So it's just an Excel live Google document that you have access to, your client has access to, and you have your daily calories, hours of sleep, your training. Obviously, you can have your measurements, you can have your long-term plan, short-term plan, rate of loss, rate of gain, everything's in there. It's just very convenient. I know a lot of people use apps for
Yeah.
like Trainerize and things like that, so you can actually track everything. But it's very easy, and it's gonna be overwhelming the first couple of days. But once you
Yeah.
know how everything works, it's just so easy.
And it's everything on the same document, so it makes easier for the coach to have access as well.
Yeah.
And I think we do it the same way. We have like weekly updates when the client needs to send us update the spreadsheet and needs to send us like a feedback. How was the week? And actually, I always say to my clients, please send me a video because when you text me or you send me audio, it's different because I can't
It
see your
is.
communication. I can't see
Yeah.
the way you are emphasizing things, and
Mm-hmm.
non-communication is really important for at least for me as an online coach. I have
Me
this
too.
always this thing that it's not never enough. I want
Mm-hmm.
data, so I can analyze everything because I'm always scared
Yeah.
that something's gonna miss. So the video updates are really, really important, and I think for to have the connection when we send them our video back, for them
Yeah.
hearing us talking and you know, knowing our expressions, I think that's what makes the real connection.
I agree, and people look forward to that. I know that when I was getting coached by Steve, I was looking forward to my check-in every week because it was like the time of the week where I can actually hear him talk and just connect with him. So it's
Yeah.
not as good as like a live call, but if you want to make it convenient as an online coach, like you just cannot have live calls with people like every week. So it's a good balance between, you know, email and live calls, but you actually get to see people's expressions, people's body language, which is very important to, you know, get more information on what they're communicating with you. Yeah, I really like it that way as well.
You just touch a very important point, that is sometimes it's difficult to have a PT because you need to schedule a day, or you need to schedule an hour of your week to go and do the
Yeah.
training. But with the online coaching, it's okay because you can see the video whenever you're free. If you're not free at that moment, then your coach sends you the video, you can see it later. And you do your own schedule of training, so it's quite good for people that are a bit more independent, I guess.
Yeah, or if you don't have access to a gym easily, you can train at home. You can have a PT, like a personal trainer, an online coach actually program for you that way with the equipment you have access to. You can just be very flexible with people, and I think that's the value of that as well because you don't have to be in the gym with a PT. You don't have to have those time constraints, and some people don't even have access to a gym. Some people go on vacation. Some people are busy with work traveling. You can't always get in the gym at the specific location. You have your membership too. So it gets so complicated, long term, especially because you're not always going to be like in this specific gym forever. So, I mean,
And
online
you can
coaching
take
is
your
just a
coach
way.
with you wherever you are. Because we start when I was in the
Yeah.
UK and I came to Portugal, and you can take your coach with you wherever
Yeah.
you are.
And
That's
even
really cool.
when there's a pandemic, like it happened, you know, it's so valuable to have online coach instead of in-person PT.
Yeah, and I think it's, at least for me, it's very difficult to open up with someone and let them know me. So if I needed to do that with one person and then another person and another person and have bad experience in between, I think I would abandon the coaching thing. But if you
Yeah.
just need to do that with just one person, because it's already difficult to connect with people. If you are jumping from coach to coach, it's even more. So just get your
Yeah.
coach that you know believe that you can connect with, and take it for life. Why not?
Yeah, you make connections for life as well. Like I talk regularly with people I've been working with for 3 years. Like they're not clients anymore, but I knew them from when I was an intern, and we still have a great connection. So it's really valuable to have that as well.
Cool. Let's go to. I have one more question, and I think we can finish. I left this one
Amen.
to the last one because it's about me. So, how was I as a client?
You were probably one of the most curious client that I've had. You were asking a lot of questions and trying to understand things, but that's a very positive point for me. It's not a struggle at all. Like some people, I guess, would want to have more quantity in terms of clients. I prefer quality, and I want people to, you know, I wouldn't want to have you leave the coaching service feeling like you never learned anything, or like you just didn't understand what you were doing, or you were just going through the motion. You were asking a lot of questions, but like in a good way. And you were asking me to check your technique more often. And you were very intentional with what you were trying to get out of the coaching experience. And that's how you get a good coaching experience. That's when you're curious and you want to learn and you want to educate yourself. And that's also why it's going to work long term for you, because you can actually apply the knowledge now, and you can mix the knowledge with the experience that you're having right now. So super valuable. And you're great clients.
Good to know. And I feel the same when I don't like to have clients that are like soldiers.
Soldiers, yes.
That's it. Because I feel like the message is not going through. I always explain things, but when I don't have the feedback or I don't have questions back, I feel a little bit like I'm not sure if they understand everything that I said. and
Right? Yeah.
yeah, I like when people ask me questions and they always say like, "Oh, I'm bothering you." No, please bother me
Yeah.
because then we are communicating, and I
Yep.
know what are your difficulties, so I can adjust
Yeah.
and personalize better the service to you. Because that's the point. We are
Yeah.
the ones that need to adapt. It's not the client that need adapt to us. We need to adapt
Yeah.
to the client, everything, and ourselves as well. Some people are not interested in knowing some things, and that's fine, but they might be interested about knowing specific things. And if we don't know about it, we just need to look it up and give them the
Yeah.
answers that they want. That's the challenging thing. You don't know everything, but you have the ability to go and check for it because
For
you have the
sure.
sources.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
was
that and sorry, go for it.
so I finished with the how you call it, the Mino book. The
I mean, oh, yeah. Minnesburg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome. It's
Yeah.
awesome. And in the book he says that when one of the things that make you be consistent is you actually feel that you are good doing something. So if you are like new at training and you're not sure about what you're doing and you go for online coaching and you try to learn everything and you're very into it, you have better chances to keep to being consistent
Yeah.
over time. So I try to pass that message that just don't follow the plan, just question the plan. Why is that
Yeah.
way?
I love to be questioned. I never take it wrong when clients ask me, why am I doing that? Or like, they're always like, sorry to bother you, but I don't understand why I'm doing that. Can you explain that to me? And I'm like, sure, like, please ask me questions because it looks like you're invested and it looks like you're trying to understand things and it would definitely benefit you long term. But yeah, it's quite there's like a barrier that you have to break. But once people are comfortable asking you questions and bothering you all the time, they call it bothering you, but I don't
Yeah.
feel bothered. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But yeah, once they break that barrier, then it's like curious land. They're just like eager to learn everything, and it's really cool to see.
And I just want to say to people that are listening us, if they have a coach that goes with that excuse that we do it like that because we've been doing this for forever or for the last 10 years, that's not enough. That's not
Ditch
enough.
them. Just ditch them.
It's true. It's true. Because when people tell me that, I'm like, okay, this conversation over because there's no point.
No.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it. I think we covered everything.
Cool.
Right. So thank you very much for
Thank you.
accepting
Of
to do
course.
this conversation, this
Yeah.
coffee with me. And yeah, I think that's it. Have a great dinner. You didn't have dinner
Thank
yet.
you. Nope. Gonna have to
And
get some
we
food.
that's it. And I talk to you soon.
Yeah.
And
Bye.
bye,
Sorry, go for it.
guys. I'm just saying bye to the guys, everyone that is
Yeah.
seeing us, and go check our last post because if you are interested in going for online coaching, everything there that you should know about choosing the right person. I think that's it.
Nice. Yes.
Okay, have a great night, and I'll talk to you
Bye.
soon. Bye bye.
Bye.